Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the early edition of the Title Tuesday. I'm Alessia Santeramo, WFM from Italy, and I'm happy to be hosting this early edition of the Title Tuesday. European friendly, Asian friendly. Hello, everyone. Hello, chat. Be nice. Say hi. And let's have a look. This is a novelty because it's just the third time that we have the Title Tuesday so early. So let's have a look at what is the new schedule and what are the prizes, because there is double Title Tuesday and double prize. Let's have a look at it. So as you can see, every Tuesday there is the first event that is starting at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Central European time, and 9:30 p.m. EST. And then there is the second Title Tuesday, a bit more North America friendly, so 2 p.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Central European time, and in the middle of the night for EST time. And there is a lot of cash prizes, in total over 250,000, and every week 5,000. Split in this way. The first place is bringing home 1K, one full K, second place 750, 500 for the third, and then we go a bit down. Fourth place 150, and then fifth place top women and top streamer wins $100. Oh, double prize and double event. Oh, wait. It started already. The round started already. We have the game of Hikaru. I was just going to mention, we have Hikaru playing and we have lots of other Grandmaster. I saw Vidit before, and we are going to see all the games. There is also a prediction, guys, in the chat. If you want to bet, will Hikaru win the title Tuesday? You can bet. This is the prediction. It's open for the next 12 minutes. Feel free to bet if you wish to gamble a bit of your channel points. So let's see. Let's start with this game. The first round, as always, there is a very strong opponent playing with against. The rating difference is much higher. So as you can see, white here is just 2,500. Is a Canada master, Carson Ludwig from Sweden, and is fighting versus Hikaru. Is probably, I would be extremely happy to be paired versus Hikaru round one. It's such a great opportunity to maybe try to play the game of your life. And maybe, try to start this Title Tuesday with the best of the result. Okay, so this position, it started like d4, g6, e4. So it's like a modern, let's say c4. So it's a modern defense. And then we have the exchange of the central pawn. Okay, all the pieces got developed and the d pawn got exchanged. So this means that we have an open file where the action will be going on. So b6, bishop b7, double fianchetto for Hikaru. And now this queen is a bit feeling uncomfortable. Let's see what Hikaru will do about the queen. Okay, queen to c8, and now bringing the knight to c5. Very nice. b5, before controlling the square. And now there is the fight going on the queen side. That's very interesting. Okay, let's go to see other games. Oh, sorry, I have to switch. Oops. Sorry, let's go to see other games. So here we have the second board. We have, with the white pieces, a super strong Grandmaster, Bogdan Dash from Romania. And we have a bishop pair on the board. Same. Oh, white is an extra pawn. If I can count it right, white should be having, white should be a pawn up. That's nice. So here is now about trying to, to convert this position. And how to? How to win with an extra pawn? Of course, if white manages to exchange all the pieces, the endgame should be winning. The pawn endgame, well, not the king, maybe. The pawn endgame should be winning, but it's not easy for white to create a pass pawn. So even that one would not be clear, because white has two double pawn here, and also there are so many pawns on the board. Yeah, so this white exchanged the dark color bishops, and now this king might be maybe weak. The idea of white was to push on e5, opening up the file, and this bishop feels a bit stupid, no? It's just blocked on the side, is not doing much. Instead, white can still use this bishop, if e5, bishop e4, so could be interesting. Yeah, let's go back to see what Hikaru did. How this situation, there was a battle going on the queen side, and now the queen is on e6, a very safe square. And Hikaru is looking at this pawn, which is a backward pawn. The only problem is that also Hikaru has a weakness, and now Hikaru is trying, exchange this pawn for this, but now Hikaru is a pawn down. Oh, he is a pawn down. Attacking the pawn on b5. Oh my god. 90 here. Let's remind everyone, the time control of the title Tuesday is 3 minutes plus 1 second. So there is increment, but it's very little. So of course, time management is extremely important. And now we are going in a situation where time will be, oh my god, I don't want to move anymore from this game. I mean, imagine Hikaru losing the first game, round number 1. And white is pushing the pass pawn. White is pushing the pass pawn. The boar is now evil. Evil, and is this a blunder? Oh yeah, because now, wow, this bishop will be exchanged. Those bishops will be exchanged, and then the pawn on b6 will fall, and white cannot push it. And now what is white gonna do? There is no way to move this bishop, to move it back in order to keep this pawn protected. So actually, white is going to take it back. And now white is thinking, white is taking the time. White is taking some time. Sorry, I was adding the bar for you so that you also see what is going on the board. Okay, let me see if the game went on. So we have b6 is on the board. But now what if black takes? What is the idea of white? After taking, 9 seconds for white, by the way. Yeah. No, I think that now the chances of Hikaru losing are very little because he should be taking the pawn exactly. But now is a question: how big are the chances to win for Hikaru here? I mean, he has some play on the G file, but let's face it, this should be totally safe. Honestly, it feels like it's black that is fighting here, because this pawn is super weak. Instead, the G pawn can be well protected, easily protected. Yeah, now, even if black is okay, you see, it's very easy to defend three times. One idea for white is now to go, push, let the H pawn go, but not that far because it was blocked. The rook on G3, maybe a sacrifice on H3, doubling the rook. Hikaru is giving it all, trying it out. But let's not forget that also this king might be weak. The pawns are super pushed and they can be weak. Now the pawn on e5 is attacked twice and it might be attacked a third time. Yes, you see? Now will white take here? Yeah, it seems good. It seems good. But after this, you have to take with the queen, not with the rook. Oh my god! Oh no! Oh no! No, what happened? There were some tactic. If queen take, maybe rook take g2 could have been an idea. And now white just blundered. Wow, white just blundered. Because, yeah, there is no way to capture the rook. Queen a7 was such a bad, an unfortunate check, you know? Now, it was just important to take back, but I'm not sure how. Because if you take with the queen, there is rook take g2 and you lose the queen. So, actually, maybe you have to take with the rook and let the rook capture on g2, and after king h1 there is no other check. And if this, probably the white king, queen g3 is threatening mate on h2, but then the black king is in danger. So probably we might even see a mate here. Okay, super interesting. Let's see if there are still some games, some games going on here. Yes, we have a few games. We have a Grandmaster versus an International Master. Oh, very interesting. Well, wait. So the pawns are going in this side. Oh, okay. So white is about to promote a pawn. But black has a queen, and now is giving so many checks. Is there a way for black or the queen to capture this rook? Oh my god, oh, check on b1. Oh, but if check on b1 and take, white is promoting and then he's winning back the queen. That's such a big trap. Oh, that's such a big trap. And look at the time for white. Oh no, look at the time. Oh my god, this time control is super, super scary. It reminds me of the sub battle when I watch my viewers playing, my subs playing. It's super, I mean, your heart is just breaking. Yeah, okay, it was a draw. Last game going on. We have a rook hand games. White is having a pawn up, but this should be theoretically a draw because there is no way to progress here for white. The rook needs to protect the pawn. If white manages to push here and to exchange the b pawn for the a pawn, this should be at the fielder position, so an easy draw. Let's see if white manages to swindle. The time situation is very close. Okay, it's just a draw. All right, guys, so with this, all the games of round 1 have finished, and now we are going to start round number 2. And here we have Hikaru. Had a tough game in round 1. It wasn't easy for him. I will try now to go to see other games. I know that there are lots of Indian fun here, and so as this title Tuesday is super in, let me see if I saw Vidit shortly playing. Yes, let's see the game of Vidit. Vidit is a super popular, I mean, he's super strong grandmaster, but also super popular on YouTube. And let's see, is there somebody in the chat that is a Vidit fan, a big Vidit fan? Here we have an e4, e5. The opening was a 4 knight with bishop b4. An idea for black to make the position a bit more spicy, because knight f6 would lead to an extremely symmetrical position where it's not so easy for black to try to win. And of course, if you see the rating different, we know that black wants to try to win. So this is spicing up the position. Now knight on d5 attacking the bishop. The bishop is staying on this diagonal, avoiding the pawn to push on d4, c3, in order to try to push the pawn on d4 or to kick the bishop away with the knight. And now white is developing the pieces in a very unconventional way. The bishop on d3, mostly the bishop shouldn't go in front of the pawn on d3 because we want to push the pawn in order to develop the other bishop. But the idea of white is probably to go with the bishop, then slowly back on c2, and then eventually to push forward and to have a good control on the center. Honestly, I quite like white's setup here. Yeah, I quite like it. Oh, there is a Vidit fan in the chat. Nice. Hello, Grumbling. Taking here. Castle. All right, let's go to see also how the Hikaru game is going. So here we have white is having a pass pawn here. And I've always been struggling with this chess concept. Is a pass pawn strong in the middle game, or is it a weakness? Because this is an isolated pass pawn. So mostly pass pawn, we all know that they are super strong in endgames, right? One pass pawn can make you win the whole game. So they're very strong. But in the middle game, the point here is that there are so many pieces that are able to stop the pawn, and now the pawn fell. So again, Hikaru is fighting here. The point for white is that now the pawn on b5 is hanging. So, you know, let's see. This looks complicated. The king, white's king is still in the middle. Rook e8. Also knight to f4. This bishop is very strong. I honestly think that now Hikaru needs to be precise. Even if the bar shows that Hikaru is ahead, I think that he must find some good moves here. Yeah, you see? He found a good move, of course. He is Hikaru. But probably taking on b5? The bar would have... Yeah, you see? The bar taking the pawn back is not good, because probably knight to f4, or there's way too many rook e8. There are many moves that could be very strong. So very, very good. Putting the king in a safe spot. That's just logical, but still. For the moment, Hikaru is a pawn down. So my guess is, what is happening if Black is just playing the move a6, protecting the pawn and just waiting to see what happens? Queen b6, exactly, protecting the pawn. And also removing the queen from the d file where the rook was placed. And somehow the queen was feeling uncomfortable. Okay, the pawn on h7 has been taken, it was hanging. And so now we have equal material again. And this doesn't look safe anymore. I mean, look at those two bishop to queen. They're all pointing at the lonely king. Even one idea like queen d2 and then queen h. Oh, well, queen h6 check, not please. But okay, there are ideas like knight e5, queen e2, maybe queen check like this. Yeah, knight e5, attacking f7, very, very logical. Now, white has an interesting, very good position. I like all the pieces are active, and white is, of course, not even a pawn down, so that's definitely a good position. On the other side, if all the minor pieces are going to be exchanged, what is clear is that black is having a very good endgame, because for black it would be super easy to create a pass pawn, which would be even far away from the kings. And that's a very strong, always far away pass pawn is such a strong point during the endgames. So let's see. Ooh, we have a sacrifice. Knight take f7. Surprise. Bishop take here. Check. And now queen to f5, taking back the piece, double check. Beautiful combination. And the main point is that after rook take e5, queen take d5 is a check, because if not, the bishop would be hanging on b2. So details in chess in combination matter. Okay, we have a simplification, and now this is 2 extra pawn for white. This should be technically winning. And also black is in big time trouble. Let's go back to Vidit. Let's see. Oh my god. This position evolved in a very I mean, it's super complex position. Very atypical. This king is running away. They're a double pawn. Material wise is equal. We have 6 pawn, and then we have a knight versus a bishop. I gotta say, this knight is a better piece for now, because he's attacking, is good to protect, is a bit more multitasking. Instead, this bishop can just play on this diagonal, so just against the f7 pawn. Okay, now white is going back with the pieces, but my concern is, where is this king safe there? Or is the king like, for example, rook g7? Or I don't know if even f3 could be an idea at one point. Try to open up the center. Because if you open up the lines, okay, now this pawn is hanging. Okay, queen exchange should be a good news for black, because black has the king in the middle. Oh, but now... Ooh! Okay. Wow, amazing. Taking a pawn back. Okay, now we have this endgame where things went way too fast. And now black has a pass pawn, losing a pawn, attacking this other pawn. The bishop is stopping. Time is very short. This pawn will be hanging. Okay, not protected. And now black is having the only pass pawn. But white has 2 pawns on this side. So material white is doing good. If white manages to stop this pawn and to start to push those, white will be winning. Instead, if black manages to play a2 and rook b1, this will be winning. But now, what if... Ooh, exchange. Wow, black is just a pawn down in this endgame. But look at the time, mamma mia. Mamma mia. All right, okay, now they got exchanged and now Vidit is playing for a win. It should still be a draw. It should still be a draw. I don't know. Okay, Vidit is trying. Vidit also went for a draw. He's now playing some more moves. But okay, I think this will end up in a draw. Are there still game going on? Yes, we have Big Fish against a big talent from Ukraine. Peshka is also streaming on Twitch. He's a very young little boy, but very talented in chess. Let's see. So he's playing versus a super top grandmaster, and he's having a queen versus Turek, and now he's just giving check, 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 and even playing, you know, for a win here. Honestly, I think should be just a draw because white is not having enough weaknesses for the queen to exploit. The only weakness is the pawn on g3, but this should be just a draw. Also, white has no way to organize the two rooks attacking the f7 pawn, which would be for white the only way to win, because white doesn't have a safe place for the king. So black will just be giving check, 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 check. All right, guys, round number 2 finished with this draw, and now we go on with round number 3. We have, of course, lots of grandmaster, as you can see in the standings, lots of grandmasters with 2 out of 2, and the games are about to start in a few seconds. We have Hikaru playing against an international master from China. So let's go to see other grandmaster. Here we have Grishuk with the black pieces, also playing this early edition of the Title Tuesday. We have interesting game. What was the opening here? Okay, we have d4 this, knight f3, and then we have a London system. Oh no. Oh, are there fan of haters of the London system in the chat? Put in heart if you like the London system, and yeah, just write that you don't like it. If you don't like the London system, yeah, pog for the London system. Okay. Nice. Black is exchanging the London bishop, and now he's controlling the center. All right, I see. So we have just lover of the London system in the chat. Nice. Because I compensate with you guys. Okay, let's see. So this, I don't particularly like the London system because mostly the positions are not that much dynamic, but they are very blocked, and there are not so many breakthrough points. Sometimes white will try to play e4, black will try to play e5 or to exchange to play on the c file, but you know, there are not crazy attacks on the king. No. Oh well, sometimes actually. Depends. All right, let's see what Hikaru is doing. Will he be struggling in game 3, or will he have a smooth victory? All right, we have this position, same, of course, equal material, and we have opposite side castling. You know what opposite side castling means? Also blocked center. So it means that theoretically, what you should do is to try to attack on the other side. So what white should do is to play g4, h5 to try to open the file towards this king, and then to try to give mate. Same things for black, something like b5, b4. The problem for black here is that if you start to push the pawns, it's not guaranteed that you're able to open some files. And instead, by pushing the pawn on b5, you make forever weak the square on c6. So maybe here, black shouldn't push the pawn on b5. And rather, I like this move, trying to bring the knight on c5 and maybe just later consider if b5 is a possibility or not. Mamma mia. b3, protecting the knight. Rook on f8. I mean, I don't know if f5 is really the idea. I don't think so. Yeah, this position is not easy to play for both player. Maybe for white is slightly easier because white has more space. And yeah, now f5 is the critical move. But objectively, shouldn't be too dangerous for white because there is not the king here on the king side. And black is opening up the position where his own king is. So this is clearly a double hedge because the idea of black is that now the pawn on d5 is a weakness, but also the king side is now much weaker. So let's see if white will be able, and as you see, the engine prefers white because, you know, engine knows how to deal with weaknesses and the right way and also to protect the pawn on d5. Now the move on b5. As I said a few moments before, this move can be very dangerous because it's giving up forever the square on c6 and on c7. So now the rook can go there, this pawn is a weakness, and how to deal with it. Of course, now white had to go back on c3, but eventually, now the queen are facing each other, so white has to take a decision. And the decision is not to exchange the queens. Well, this pawn is a weakness. Maybe black could consider to double the rook on this file. But here, now, how is black finding a counterplay? Because to me it seems like this is going just towards one side. Because it's true, yeah, black only idea is to attack this pawn. But how to keep attacking? Maybe with the queen on b7? My feeling is that for white will be very easy to protect this pawn. Because, okay, it's already protected by a knight and easily the rooks can join. The problem is that white would really like to place a knight here. Oh my god, g4 has been played. I love this move. I really love how white played here. So the idea is that white kicked this knight away. The knight was the only active pieces attacking actually. One piece for white, and now white is in a full attack. Knight here attacking the pawn and rook c6. Apparently this is a disaster for white, but it's for a very practical reason. Is that now, after this move, there is rook f2, and then there could be a mate. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's a problem. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. White played in a very nice way, but, yeah, missed this concrete idea. Wow. I think white will just resign. We will stay on this game because just few more seconds. Oh, knight on f2. Oh, good try. Yeah, okay. It's just a pawn, a piece down versus the cover. Okay, that's not enough. Let's go on. We have Grandmaster versus a FIDE master. A very complex position. White is having same material, equal material, but look at this pawn. Super weak. The king is still in the middle. How to break through? There are so many weaknesses. You see the queen can easily penetrate through many sides, and this queen has to protect a bit too many things. Now this pawn is under attack, the rook is here. Now the idea of b5. And, ooh, okay, even c5. Exchanging. And now this bishop is good, because as a very strong diagonal, the tactic. The tactic is ending the game, winning the game. Okay, this pawn can be taken, not taken, taken, or not taken. Bishop f3 sounds like a very easy way, because now, okay, black is putting strong pressure, because now there is a perpetual threat. Very nice move. White is giving check, capturing the pawn and controlling the square. And now again, you will see that white at one point will be controlling the square. Taking the pawn and controlling the square. Oh my god, there was king f2! There was king f2! Ooh, let's go back. Oh no, that's painful. Sorry, but I have to show you. Because this was... Oh my god, the king moves, go, to go mate, king f2. There is no check, and black is mated. Oh no, this is how chess is never over until it's over. You always have an opportunity, and that's pretty late, I have to say. Ooh. Alright, let's see if there is still some game going on. Chess is too beautiful. Let me see. Yes, we have for sure some other games. Okay, this is at stalemate. Beautiful. Here we have a rook endgame with 2 pawns for black. It should be winning. It should be winning. Let's see if black has the technique, putting the rook behind the pawn. And now it's easy for... Nice trick. Nice trick. All right, he tried, but wasn't, of course, was just a desperate try. Here we have black having 2 extra pawns. White is trying to give some checks, but now the checks are over, and this should be just technically winning for white. Oh, sorry, for black. When you're a pawn up and there are very few pieces, you have a different way to try to win. Either you put pressure and you start to attack the opponent king, even with using your pawn. You see what black did, amazing. It starts to putting pressure and to use the pawn to show, I have those pawns and they are guiding my pieces. And if you don't have pawn to stop the enemy pawns, they can be super dangerous. And here we have a deadly fork. We have another rook endgame. Is this time winning? Oh, I think this is just a rook hanging. Okay. Whoa, that's cool. Look at this. Look at this. We have... Oh my god, that's so cool. This endgame, I've never seen this endgame. 1 rook and 2 knights. Honestly, okay, well done. Honestly, I think black took the best decision, because you're the only person that can lose this is black. With 2 knights, I mean, I would take at least 50 forks than with these 2 knights. Yeah, it's way too hard. Oh my god, we have round number 4 starting immediately. And we have on one side Hikaru, and on the other side, Exotic Princess, which is the nickname of Jobava. And let's see if Jobava will play some crazy opening. You always have a very fascinating style. A very creative player. Hikaru is playing one of his favorite weapons in this Title Tuesday. I've seen many Title Tuesday, and Hikaru really loves to play the b3 format. Sometimes he even starts with 1 b3, and then he places the pieces in a very easy setup. So guys, many of you like the London system because it's easy, but I have to say, also this structure with b3, e3, d4, and then c4. So look at those pawns. This pawn will eventually go on c4. It's a very easy setup for white. So you put the bishop on fianchetto, and then you just develop the knight on f3, on d2, and the bishop on d3. And then you play for the center. You probably castle short, and then you place the 2 rooks on the c and on the d file. And that's a very easy setup for white, and that's why Hikaru likes it a lot, because... And... You know, it's a very easy to develop all your pieces, and then he just plays a game. Let's see. Let's see if there are... Oh my god, there is an Italian player on board too. It's Didici. I personally know him. He's a very young... He's an Italian talent. And he's playing on board throughout the Title Tuesday. Amazing. Similar, super symmetrical position. Look at the pawn structure. They are just the same. We have nearly... I mean, if white goes back here, then it's like, okay, bro, we did it. It's just same position. Well, this rook should be there. But okay, very similar position, symmetrical. It should be more or less draw. If you don't know that, I have a short thing to mention about opposite color bishop. You might have heard already that opposite color bishop in endgame will lead probably to a draw. But in the middle game, everything is different, because you have so many other pieces, and it's like if white has an extra pieces on all the dark squares. So all the dark squares, white is having an extra piece. So if white is attacking a point on the dark square, there is no way Black can defend with all the pieces, but there is no way to defend it with this bishop. Same things for black. Black has an extra piece on the light square. What does it mean in practical? It means that if you're attacking the opponent king, you're attacking it with an extra piece. So mostly in position with opposite color bishop in a middle game, they say that the opponent that is having the attack, the initiative, is the one that is better. So of course, if you are in this position, try to attack the opponent king. And you will do it with an extra piece. Things are going on here. The queens are farming pawns. Now there is a knight hanging on d6. But what I don't like is that now black doesn't have any more the double pawns. Instead, white is left just with 2 weak double pawns. So this is not very, very convenient. Let's see where this knight will go. And how is white planning to go on? Okay, knight here, we have a check, and white is probably taking here. So white will just be a pawn down. I really like that black took the pawn here on c3, because now this pawn will be weak and is blocked on the light square, where black can attack it one more time. Yes. Let's go back to Hikaru. Wow, this game evolved in a very drastic way. Many pieces got exchanged, and now we have a super strong rook here attacking 2 pawns. The knight will also jump to e5 and attack one more time. Oh, we have an exchange sacrifice, but it's not really a sacrifice, because after c take b6 we have a fork. Now this rook is not protected, so white cannot take, but maybe white... Oh, I like it. I like 95 with the idea of taking here, and it would be a fork. And what if rook b7? Rook b7. Can you take here maybe with the queen? Oh, yeah, you can also take here, because if rook take, you take here. I'm not sure. Okay, we have queen a5 just defending the pawn. Now, can black protect the pawn on c6? Yeah, queen e8 protecting the pawn. And now black is having an exchange up. Yeah, it seems like white was better here. But maybe what's necessary... I mean, if taking rook takes... Knight takes, and this is a check. And after king here, the knight is also falling. And this is not looking good. So probably Caro had to find another move here. I, of course, don't know what this is. Okay, let's see how the game went on. So we have queen e8, and now Caro is thinking. Is under 1 minute, 39 seconds. Okay, rook b3, trying to activate the rook on the 3rd rank. Black is losing the pawn on a6, but I think it doesn't care. Because after queen d8, for example, this pawn might fall, and this is much more important. One strategical thing about when you are an exchange up, what should you do? Exchange up means that you have a rook and your opponent has a minor piece, like a bishop or a knight. In this situation, if you are having the rook, you need to open as many files as possible, because the rooks will be so active and so powerful. Instead, if you're having the piece, try to keep as many pawns as possible, because this will create a barrier and limit the opponent rooks. So what Jobava did, exchanging the A pawn for the B pawn, was such a good strategical decision, because now the rooks are much more active and they are playing. You see already a rook on the 2nd rank, and now all the white pieces are so passive. If nothing happens here, Jobava is clearly winning here. Let's see. Alright, attacking the pawn. But now, okay, I love this move. Also, one idea could be, after rook take, I think rook b1 is winning. Just doubling the rook on the 1st or 2nd rank is just a GG. Yeah, you resigned. There is nothing to do. Let's go on with this game. Is my Italian friend versus a very strong master. And apparently black is having 2 pawns, so is black trying to win. The problem is that this knight is completely dominated by the bishop. You see all the squares where the knight can move are controlled by the bishop. So that's actually just a draw because this knight wasn't playing. If the knight would have been into the action, it would have been another story. But like this is just a draw. So guys, let's see if there are still some games going on. Soon we might have still some game. Yes, here we have the galgo with the black pieces. And a very nice endgame. Knight endgame, that's very nice. White is having an extra pawn. They say that knight endgames are very similar to pawn endgames. And, okay, black is just trying to be fast and repeating moves. But they said they were very similar to pawn endgames. So apparently this should be very good for white. The problem is that the only pass pawn is an h pawn, and I don't like too much. I don't like this too much. Also, if the pawn would be here, probably this would be winning for white. But with the pawn, the h pawn, I'm not sure if white will be able to win this. But still, white is the one fighting for the victory. Okay, the pawn cannot be pushed forward. But no, the idea is that, yeah, knight here attacking both pawns. Yeah, you see attacking, at least trying to capture one little boy. Now black played amazing. Yeah, black is a grandmaster. He played beautiful, great defense. Going to take the pawn, and now that's just a draw. It's just a draw. Yes. Okay, we have still some... okay, this is a complete... very good victory for white. Oh, nice. This endgame can still go on for a while. We have... Oh, wow, black found a way. Mostly this is not winning. This is just a draw. But if you bring your king to the edge, you lose. So always stay with your king in the center if you're playing a rook versus a rook and a knight. Alright guys, all the games of round number 4 are finished, so I will take a short break and we will come back with the show with the next rounds after a very short break. So stay tuned and see you later. Hello guys, we are back and round number 5 is starting. As you can see, the game is already on screen. We have our interesting opening for the fun of the Netherlands. We have the Dutch defense with f5, and this is the current position. Very sharp, decision for black. The queen already on b6, all the pieces are still on, but black is playing very aggressive. Let's see which interesting round are happening here in round number 5. So we have the winner, Exotic Princess, the man who beat Hikaru previous round, playing versus Greshok. So of course now all the tough rounds are happening, and we have what was this opening? Maybe a French defense? By the way, very symmetrical position. All the minor pieces on the board. Already a couple of rooks got exchanged. This is a game where you have to place your pieces in the right squares. And mostly, one thing I can say, one educational thing, yes, white should try to exchange this bishop and to keep this one. So not to exchange the light square bishop because of the pawns. Because those pawns are creating a shield for black's own bishop. So white should avoid to exchange it. If not, placing the rooks on the open file, and it's a pretty stable position. I don't know if somebody will be able to unbalance the situation. Here we have another position that's definitely unbalanced. That's definitely unbalanced. Okay, so we have knight taking, and the pawns are getting exchanged, and now we have again opposite color bishop. We have two grandmaster. We have Grandmaster Bornik against Joppy. We have which is the nickname of Found Forest. So here white is already going for the attack. White is just 2 steps away. G5 and G6. G6 would be the ideal breakthrough because the pawn on G6 is attacking 2 pawns of the castling, and yeah, black has to decide. Either you take but you're opening some files, or you push but then you're still opening some files. So G6 is the ideal black breakthrough. Now what black managed to do is to open the C file, but I don't think that is enough counterplay. I think that pushing on G6 is much more dangerous, and G5 can be played without too much worries, because even after the exchange the G file is open. The only problem for now is that this rook is looking at the queen, is on the same file of the queen, so I would be a bit careful about that. Knight to e5, I really like this move. Maybe even f4 g5 could be an idea. Of course, so black is not just waiting and let white attack, but is going for a counterattack. Taking, and now f4. Post champ. I think f4 is a nice move. The only problem of f4 is that the queen is still on the same diagonal. So white is trying to saying, bro, let's exchange the queens. Interesting. The knight is a very strong piece, and white is having an extra pawn. So that's true. Why not? Yeah, now the queen are exchanged, and white is having just an extra pawn, a very strong knight, a pass pawn in the center. That's very promising, extremely promising for white. Let's go back to board number 1. Let's see if there was, if there is, you know, any change. We have a knight endgame. Again, same number of pawns, but black is attacking 2 pawns at the same time. This knight is protecting, but then this means that the knight is a bit passive. Now the king is getting to f5, attacking the boy on e5 twice. I really like the idea of h5 because probably what is happening here is that after king f5, white will play the move f4, protecting the pawn, and then eventually g3 to protect the f4 pawn. So what black wants to do is to be able to face the move f4 with h4. I like king g3, so now if h5, g3 is possible, but at the end of the day, still all the pawns are weak. So here is black that is fighting for a victory. It's still very slight advantage, but you know, when the time gets few, many interesting things can happen. Let's see shortly what Hikaru is doing. Okay, Hikaru is completely winning. He's having a couple of extra pawns. Also, this king is in danger. Hikaru won. So we have extra... No extra pawn. No, but now this king is going towards attacking the pawn on c2. This king is going towards the g2 pawn. c3. This is so nerve-wracking for white. White has to keep everything under control. Attacking the pawn on a2. Now a3. And then how to keep protecting. Knight b1, a4, knight here. Okay. Black is just trying to create a passer as soon as possible. If the exchange, this will be pretty easy to create a passer. Actually, the move knight b1 is coming next because there is no way to protect the pawn, and also there is no way to counterattack. This is a very tough position. All right, now check. This pawn cannot be taken. That's a good try. The knight has to go towards another side. Okay, now pushing. Very nice idea. Okay, now this pawn can just be pushed. Don't you? Yeah, all the pawns are falling. I would push on b3 now. Okay, this is also beautiful. There is no way to stop the pawn. Oh no, there is a way to stop the pawn, and it's giving up, and now this pawn is running. Oh my god, I told you, everything can happen. Oh no. Oh no, this is unstoppable now. The king is too far away. That's a tragedy for white. For black, sorry, for Greshok. That's a tragedy. Oh my goodness. Okay, Jawab on fire. I mean, he won this game in a very tricky way. We have two pawns. Actually, with the A and B pawns, it's not so easy to win with white. It's a bit trickier. Because sometimes you would like to have an extra file, the Z file. But it's not possible. Alright, so white has to go there, exactly. Now rook here, the king is supporting, and then start to push. Push even forward, and now it's easy. Now it's easy, you just bring the king, push the pawn, then bring the king and promote. Now this is just winning. Okay. Yeah, white is just proceeding, and that's now a GG. And that's now a GG's. How many games are still going on? This game is over. Are they all over? No, there are 3 more games going on. We have a rook hand game. Rook hand games are the most frequent rook hand games in chess. Hola. Hola chicos. ¿Cómo estás? How are you, chat? Okay, we have two pawns. Look at the time. Look at the time. Look at the time. Number 6 and an international master. That's a strong international master. That's the last game. The last game going on. I mean, it should be a draw. I don't see a way to yeah. Just a repetition of position. If the game repeats 3 times, that's a good draw. It will be a draw. The server is just forcing you to have a draw. All right, so let's see. Who is playing. So we have how many players? We have 8 players with 5 out of 5. I want to see what we have. Arian Tari, as you see there. As you can see, we have many grandmaster, and we have an international master. So you want to see international what the international master is doing? We are gonna see an international master, the only international master at having full points is playing exactly versus Jobava, which already beat Hikaru and is doing great. So the pieces are out. Development. Here we have a structure that is a very typical array 4A5. And I've done a video where I explained the structure of 4A5, and there were so many beautiful ideas, very typical ideas. And here white is using basically all of them. So the idea of C3 D4 is one idea, very typical. Also bringing this knight towards the square on F5 is another idea. G3, I don't know this move. Making all the squares weak. If bishop G4 wouldn't be hanging, this would be very strong. So I like the move bishop B6 with the idea of taking, and after this, bishop to G4, pinning the knight. The queen is mostly, there is the golden move to protect your king. Never push the pawn in front of your king. Unless you have to, never push them. And okay, the idea actually of G3, it's typical. It's just made to play against the knight on G6 that now cannot jump forward towards the white king. But this is making some weaknesses. So let's see if black will be able to exploit them, or if he has just to go back and then white is actually going to place a knight on F5 maybe. I like how white is you know, to slowly consolidate all the weaknesses. This king here is a strong king. He's controlling those squares, and they are important. And of course, white would like to exchange the light square bishop, because like this, white could just place a knight on F5. The problem is that if white takes on E6, black might take with the pawn and then control with the pawn this square. And also opening up the F file, attacking the pawn on F2, and of course you don't want this to happen for white. So I think these bishops will be looking at each other for a while, because also black doesn't want to exchange, as black will be gifting this square. H4, king to H7. Is white going to push also the G pawn? I don't know. Let's see if Hikaru is winning. Because he needs to win all the games now to try to fight for the victory. There is a big prediction. There was a big prediction in the chat. I did bet my points on Hikaru winning. Let's see what will happen. We have this position where white, again, equal material. The only difference is the white is having the bishop here. Now this move looks like attacking the queen and the rook. Did white lose an exchange? I think white lost an exchange. And the point that the bar is just in the middle, is still there in the middle, is because the bishop there is so strong. I mean, there are positions where really the bishop pair is just too much. And here in this position, I would take white all the life. No, why? Because this pawn is hanging, and then you will have pass pawn. This is a point. But also, I mean, look, imagine just put this bishop here, the bishop on b2, king on h2 just to be safe. I mean, those are really strong bishops. And here, ideally for black, what you should do is to try to exchange your knight for one of those bishops. If you can do that, then this is much more towards black. Yes, I see some of my emoticons, some of my people in the chat. Hello guys, nice to see you. Let's see what our princess is doing. The queen got exchanged. Oh, as you can see, the bishop are not anymore looking at each other, but white couldn't resist by taking the bishop. The point is that now white won a pawn. I like it a lot. Oh yes, look at this pawn structure. Material-wise, black is having just an equal position, but look at this pawn structure. I mean, it looks like a meme, you know? Pawns like this. That's not a good pawn structure. Honestly, it feels like black is just 2 pawns down. And it's not a coincidence that the engine is showing +4 in this position, because the engine thinks that all the pawns are gonna fall. And that there was a knight hanging. Ooh, imagine taking that knight. I would do that, and then it would be just a draw. So important to always look for your opponent's resources. Okay, trying to exchange one couple of rook, a very nice, a very good practical decision. Now the king, bringing the king on e3 would be just a perfect position for white. I'm sure that here Joe Bava should bring the point at home. This should be just a slow technical victory. I really like this king here. Now this pawn is also falling. Yeah, you see the king is going f3. And the king will also reach the square. Will also go on e3. Okay, taking this pawn. Now probably, maybe king e3. I don't know. One day the king will go on e3. I hope. Yay! Let's go. All right, white should be winning. This position, we have both Grandmaster with 5 out of 5. White is having such a good pawn structure in the middle. These pawns are limiting all the other black pieces behind. And now e6, the breakthrough. When you have these 2 strong pawns next to each other, you need to push one of them just when you're sure that it's good. Because if it's not the right moment, then your opponent will place a piece here, blocking your pawns forever, and you wouldn't have achieved much. Instead, now, let's reload the game. So now what's white after? Okay, let's shortly see what happened. So e6, we had the e6, this bishop exchange, and white is taking an extra pawn. So white won a pawn, and now some rooks got exchanged, and we have this super complex position where white is having just an extra pawn. The king are joining the game. Position got exchanged. Check. The knight is going. White is having 2 extra pawns here. Still 2 extra pawns, and now he's pushing. Okay. Should push here. Oh no. White lost a pawn. Now it's not so clear anymore. I mean, now it's not so clear anymore. Because if the knight manages to give up himself for the pawn, then should be a draw. A very hard draw, but okay, this black is way too passive. Okay, but black is trying, you know? Bishop here. How to win all though? How to win? Okay. Rook to h4, king g2. Lovely. All right. Guys, look at this trap. If bishop take... Ah, no. Sorry, I thought I was smart. I thought... Okay, this should be just winning. Right? It's the last game. It's the last game. Oh no, not last game. There are a few more games. So let's go to see some few more games. This will be winning. All right, this is over. This is over. Very few more games. This is just over. Maybe it's the last game. Okay, we have this very interesting end game. Mamma mia, this guy says, I mean, it's really tough. When you have this position, you have to focus. Now, chess starts to be serious. You cannot make just random moves. You have to be serious. Yeah, a draw. Right, round number 6 is over. And this means that we're gonna start round number 7. Because after 6, there is 7. And it started, we have Hikaru playing versus GM Hari. Oh, sorry, Hari and Tari, not Hari. I mixed everything. Let's see. Let's see. What is oh, today I called Jobaba our princess. Is it fine? Here we have the classical B3 of Hikaru. I really likes it. And we have our princess with the black pieces. Whoa. We have, what is this? What is this? What is this opening? What happened here? It was a Karukan. Ooh! Oh, it was a Tau variation. This is the my favorite line versus the Karukan. Oh my god. There are so many dirty tricks. If Black is going with the main line here with h5, bishop g5, queen b6. Here you can hang this pawn, even the rook, and you give mate. Super fascinating line. I recommend you to look into it because it's very nice. All right, so here we have a position where Black managed to exchange the light core bishop, and White has a very strong center and more space. The king is safe. And Black needs to find a way to finish the development. Okay, we have b4. You have b4. White is trying to, to say, open up some things. Black closed, but no. The problem for Black is that Black doesn't have many breakthrough in this structure. The breakthrough for Black are two, c5 and f6. So now that Black closed here, the only remaining way to push is f6. If not, White will just be having much more space and will be the only one fighting for a victory. I will be White trying to win in such a close position. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. We'll do it by pushing the G and the F pawn. So removing the knight and then pushing the pawn and pushing even to f5. Exchanging the pawns and opening up the files. This would be a great way. So let's see. Knight to h4. And you see f4, f5 is coming. It's not very easy to play for Black here. It's not easy to play for Black. Very passive position, very tough. But I'm sure that Jobaba will find some tricks, some way to, at least some ideas. And of course, White is a super strong GM, and that's a tough game. Let's switch to something else. We have other two players that are having full points, and we have really an endgame with the bishop pair versus one bishop and the knight. Yeah, it's a super cramped position for White and for Black. The previous game. We have the bishop pair, but this time the bishop pair is less sexy than previously, because the position is not too much open. There are so many pawns, and even more important than that, those bishops are not active. This knight is dominating this bishop because the bishop cannot move as long as the pawn on b2 is hanging. Okay, but now what is happening if knight take b2? Will Black be just a pawn down? Maybe e5. Maybe if this e5 could be an idea. You see? Black didn't take. Black went on e5, blocking the pawn. And now Black is trying to push on the queen side. Move g5, trying to open up. I mean, the more pawns are getting exchanged, the better is for White. So White should try to, a bit let the bishop breathe. If your bishop are breathing, they are good bishop. They are feeling good. And they are the only pieces that needs lots of oxygen. I don't know what I'm saying, whatever. Let's go back to this game. We have f5 has been played, so now all the white pieces are super active. Look at the rooks, at the queen, and at this bishop controlling this. Instead, black is just passive, protecting the pawn on f7. I thought there was a queen hanging. Wait. Who did resign? Oh, yeah, of course. If queen takes, there is rook f8 and this is mate. Of course, yeah. I was thinking, like, what? There is a queen hanging and you resign. So we have Grandmaster Shield from Argentina. Is this Argentina flag? Oh, Uzbekistan. Sorry, I don't have my glasses. Let's go to this Rook-Can game. We have Van Forest and Bodygun that are fighting to catch up with the leaders. And so winning this game would be very important, but that's just a Rook-Can game. White is having very little time, very few time. Very few time, but I think this should be objectively just a draw. Just a draw. Okay, let's go to see what Hikaru is doing. Also, Hikaru is with the group catching up. And what is happening? Very few time for... very few time for white. Oh, for black. White is trying to attack instead, so Hikaru is doing well here. Mate? No. F7 is hanging. Yeah, this is over. Over. Queen f8. I don't know if there is a way to bring the bishop. Ah, yeah, now there is a way to bring the bishop. That's over. Yeah, that's a GG. Okay, so Hikaru is trying to go up, catch up. Let's see, we have 6. Those are the leaders. So if we have decisive points, there will be a big match. Yup. We have extra pawn for black. That was like, oh no, my pawn. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Yeah, and then there was a fork. So don't always think your opponent blundered, because sometimes your opponent doesn't blunder, but he's trying to trick you. Now this pawn will fall, but this knight is not going back. It's not, sadly, it's not getting out. I like it. Good way. Black is trying to... This should still be a draw. Now just king c2, king c3, king c2. That's a draw. But of course, black tries. Maybe bringing the king to b6 and trying to reroute the knight. Oh yeah. Oh, what? Oh, just the pawn should have been pushed. Oh, wow, beautiful. Wow, beautiful. Now the knight is stopping and the king cannot get there. Wow, what a beautiful victory by black. Wow, so it means that in the next round, totally, thank you for the gift. In the next round, we will have the big match between Grandmaster Skilled versus Grandmaster Shield that just beat Baba. So that's great. Amazing. Let's see if there are still some games going on. Maybe a few games. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's about to start the next round. Yes, next round starting soon, guys. We have this last game here going on. Bishop and the rook against rook. Those games are mostly okay, this is just over. Those endgames are mostly a draw, but they are very tough to defend. Okay, this will be a very easy draw. This will actually either end in a stalemate, or white will just give up the pawn. Yeah. Stalemate, baby. Let's go. That was the last game, guys. We are gonna go towards round number 8. Now things are getting serious. Every game counts. Every game is very important. And we should move immediately to the big match. As you can see, let's have a look at the standing. We have just 2 players leading with 7 out of 7. And they're playing against each other. So let's move directly to their game. B3, B3, bishop, B2. I know some people, part of my community, that are fully in love with the move B3. I don't understand why. I don't like B3, but Icar plays it, so maybe they got inspired by him. B3 not good, no good. Let's see. F4. F4. Interesting. Love B3. I don't hate B3. But I'm an E4 lover. Sorry about that. I just love E4 too much. Okay, C4. So this position we got some pawn got exchanged. White is having trying to to get some more space on the queen side, but objectively this position looks very very around equal. No, both players have some ideas to push some pawns, but then also this bishop is not really playing right now. It's completely blocked by the enemy pawn. Okay, let's see. Vidit is playing versus Grishuk. Let's shortly see the opening. So was it D4? Slav. This is Slav probably all theory. And here we get this position where white has a bit more control over the center. There is this bishop that is hanging but cannot be taken because the queen is also pinned. Interesting position. Let's also see this other opening. We have we have the Caro-Kann. Caro-Kann is such a... I see the Caro-Kann so much at eye level. Wow, the king looks like destroyed, but now white managed to take the pawn, to take the piece on f5, and now there are those 2 pawns that are very weak. And black is not able to protect both at the same time, because if queen e6, there would have been knight to f4, exactly, attacking the queen and the pawn. And so now this pawn will be falling for sure, and I like a lot white's idea, because here white didn't take with the queen. It was a free pawn, why not take it? But went with the knight e4, because white wants to take here with the knight, which is much stronger. Yes, much stronger. So good decision. Let's see what Hikaru is. Oh no, this is the previous game. Sorry, sir. This is the current Hikaru game. I think he's playing versus a super young player, Champ 2005. Somebody in the chat knows Woz is this nickname, Champ 2005. Maybe you can go check and let me know. Because if he's 2005, he's about 17 years old, or 17, yeah. Math. Right, so queen c2. There is a weakness here on c3. Okay, is Runek. Let's see. Interesting. This position is very wild. There are opportunity for both player. Black is having an extra pawn, and I think this is the main point why Black is having a more is having an advantage here. What is this move? Okay, exchanging, just an exchange. I saw a knight hanging and I was like, what? Now the other knight is going to d5. I think it's all in all a very good practical, easy practical idea for Hikaru. He's a pawn up. And also, when you have two knights, you can think about this. When you have two knights on the board, you have to think, do I have two good squares for my knights? If you don't, if the reply is no, you might want to change one, because then you can place the other in the perfect square and you can change one knight. Instead, if you have two very good squares, you shouldn't exchange your knights, because, you know, everything is ideal there. All right. Let's go back to the big match. So this is the big match, the one that we should be following, because here we have the possible winner of the title Tuesday. Not the winner, because this is just 8th round, but those two grandmasters are having 7 out of 7. So the winner of this game will be leading with 8 out of 8. And he needs just to go on and play the last 3 rounds. Rook take f2, wow. Wow, with the idea that after knight take, maybe the pawn on e6 is hanging. Wow, black was better because black was having an extra pawn, but now suddenly is white that is leading. Yes. White is now leading. Ooh, all those kings. Oh my god. Look at those kings. I don't know. Okay, the queen got exchanged. Now this pawn is weak. This pawn is hanging. I mean, maybe still pretty. I mean, maybe rook g4 attacking both pawns here. Okay, yeah, rook d3 is better, because this knight could be pinned and lost. So rook g4 actually would lose a piece. So rook d3 is needed. Now this is the threat to take on e6. How to protect? Okay, king f8. Now this can be taken. Every piece can be exchanged, and this should be just a draw. We have a pawn endgame, 3 pawns per side. Actually, maybe white took the right decision. White took the right decision not to exchange the rooks, because if white would exchange the rooks, actually white could just lose this endgame because he has the double pawn. Instead, now should be pretty much an easy draw. Is h5 needed here? Or can you... Yeah, I know, taking is not good. Ooh. Taking is fine. Alright, this was draw by agreement. Let's go to Vidit versus Jobava. We have a 9. Oh! Remember, when you feel you're bad in chess, remember, also grandmasters are blundering their own queen. Alright, it happens. It happens. Shalala. I feel good when sorry, I mean, I'm not happy that he blundered, but it's good to see that it's not just to... It can happen to everyone. Yes. Voila. Voila. Will this be a draw? No. No. Nope. Guys, look at this. Here, if black is taking, there is... Oh. Sorry. If black is taking, there is rook here, and after king take is stalemate. But wait, let's see how this game is going on. So this is the current position. Yes, we have some check. Rook is covering. Check. Now the king cannot go because there would be this check. It's super tough to be able to win now. Okay. Alright, maybe check, and then try to go with the king. Maybe just moving the king here. Yeah, and now the king to f4. Now this is winning because the pawn should fall. Why was the bar like this? Oh, because now it's a draw again. And yeah, this will be tough. This will be tough. Okay, we have a check. This. check this. We have thing is going on. Guys, the commentator is getting also exciting. I mean, those hand games are emotional. So, yes. No, sorry. I thought the rook was lost. Oh my god. I see the bar going on and I thought, okay, now it's over. Because the rook cannot go anywhere. This is so annoying. If you push the pawn, you lose the rook. And where do you put the rook? If here there is a check, and if rook here, there is also a check there. That's a G. A GG. Yup. 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 Wow. Crazy. 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 Jobava winning another game. Let's look shortly at the standings. So we have okay, of course, the two leaders with 7.5 out of 8, and then we have many players trying to catch up. We have Ikaru, Exciting Prince, okay, Jobava, Grandmaster Beka Grushuk, and Alexander. All right, very interesting, guys. We're gonna have a short break again, and then we will be back for the final 3 rounds of the Title Tuesday early edition. Stay tuned and see you soon. guys, welcome back. We are about to start with round number 9. Let's have a look together at the standings. As you can see, there are 2 Grandmaster with 7.5 out of 8, which is exciting because everything will be open, and we have Icaro that now is the man that will try to undermine the first position of Grandmaster Shield with the white pieces. Let's see, we have lots of Grandmaster with 7 out of 8. We have actually 7 Grandmasters. So this is a great news for us, guys, because nothing is open, and everything is open, everything is possible, and everyone can still win the title Tuesday. So let's see. Carl went with the B3, E3, C4, D4 is most is a standard setup on during this title Tuesday. He really likes to play this a lot. I would like also to have a look at other games, and we are gonna check them out right now. So let's also see what the other leader is doing. Is playing versus Grisha with the black pieces. We have a structure, E4, E5 structure, and maybe F5 is a possibility here for black. White is a beautiful knight on D5. This square is slightly this square is weak. Generally white is better. White is having more space. It's having a safer pawn structure, and that's it. That's it for now, because black is having the bishop pair. Also the king is not yet castle, but white has different ideas here. White could try to castle, then maybe remove the knight and play for f4. White could try to push d4 at the right time. Of course, the priority for white here is to finish development. Don't do crazy things like opening up the center if your king is still in the middle. Always priority is to finish your development. Yes. All right, let's go to other. Here we have. Oh, this looks like a Sicilian because the C and the D pawn have been exchanged, and yeah, it looks so much like a Sicilian. Not really a neither, but looking like a neither, for the pawn is missing on E6. Okay, now what was the opening? Was a Philidor. Okay, makes sense. Was a Philidor, and then everything got pushed, and now yes, we have this structure that is very typical on the neither, actually. Super typical. So now what black should try to do? Black should try to push on d5, and white should try to avoid it, and white has a very easy way to avoid it, which is the move c4. Honestly, I think that white has a great position here, because c4 is coming. d4 cannot be played right now because the pawn will just be hanging. There are a queen and a rook defending, and after c4, I mean, it's just what is black playing? Maybe b6? Yeah, I love c4, f5. This is the typical counterattack, and it's double-hedged because black is also weakening his own king, but is basically the only way for black to counterplay. And I always struggle with this idea because black gets lots of initiative, and it's not easy. So now white defended the pawn on f2 with this trick. And how to go on? This is what I'm asking. I'm asking what to do now. So the pawns are pushed here. We have 3 rooks looking at this pawn. No, sorry, 3 pieces looking at this pawn. The knight might go back towards d5, which is the ideal square for the knight, and that's a very typical route. Knight e1, f2, b4, sometimes also through e3 and then d5. That's very good. Always when you don't know exactly what to do in a position, try to improve one of your worst placed pieces. That's a good suggestion. Make all your pieces smile and make them feel like they are in good squares. And the queen, the rooks are doing fine. Also, this bishop is doing fine. The only piece missing is this knight. And bringing the knight to d5 is definitely a good idea. Definitely good idea. Let's see Hikaru here as this position with and 2 extra pawns. Ooh, 2 extra pawns, but this pawn is weak. This king is did he bon cloud? Did he bon cloud? He bon cloud. Oh my god, he bon cloud. He bon cloud. He did the bon cloud. He did the bon cloud. I mean, I did the bon cloud. All right, so he did it, and now the king is paying the consequences of the bomb cloud. So the king is in the middle and is slightly weak. I gotta say, the pawn is a good shield. The 3 pawns here are a very good shield, but still, you see the queen is trying to get from the flank. Trying to exchange the bishops. So there was a pawn. Yes, there was a pawn, so taking a pawn. That's now very good for black suddenly, because equal material. And okay, white is actually having one single advantage, is that if the queen gets exchanged, white has the most active king. So black cannot exchange the queens here. For example, just to show you, a move like queen b4 here would be losing. Let's see if I can put this move. Yeah, you see the bar? Ooh. Nope. Because the king is just much more active than this other king. So, okay. This is the current position. Now white is having a pass pawn, and this is not what should happen. What happened shortly? Okay, white managed to push a pawn, and this is the current position. White now has 2 pass pawn, black has just 1, but this king is super weak. Okay. Now this pawn is now blocked, and the problem is that white is having 2 pass pawn. They are strong. Okay, repetition. Twice. Double repetition. And Hikaru says, nope. But now we're gonna have the 3rd one, I think. You're clever. Ooh, he lost a pawn. Okay, lose another pawn. Okay, now this pawn is going. Ooh, that's now crazy. Crazily tricky. Because now black has 3 pawns. Black cannot exchange the queens. But now the pawns are not pushing. Are not going. Oh! This pawn is going. Okay, that's GG's. Alright, what an exciting game. Let's see the other results. Okay, let me see the other results, guys. This is important. So, Jobava won, and both Skid and Shield lost their game. So now there are nothing more leading, and we have 4 leaders, and they are Exotic Princess, aka, well, sorry, Jobava, aka Exotic Princess. Then we have Hikaru, then we have Grandmaster Becca and Grandmaster Greshuk. So that's nice. Nice clip, guys. Cool. We have... Interesting. Let's see if there are some games still going on. Yes, we have a few, very few games. Okay. They're all over, maybe? Oh, here. Okay, we have a flag. And we have a resignation. Very exciting. And we have a flag. Well, it was very interesting, a very exciting end, guys. Now all the games are over, and we're about to start the round number 10. So those are the last 2 rounds, and we have we have 2 players that are. Sorry about that. Oh no. All right. Okay, so we have 4 players that are having the leading. I'm sorry, but I lost the link to the title Tuesday. I have to reload it. Yes. Okay. Good. And this, I'm very sorry, guys. But now it's all good. Sorry, I closed the title Tuesday, and so I didn't have it anymore. It's all good now, and we have to follow 2 games, I think. Grishuk against Exotic Princess, and then Ikaru versus Becca, the one that we are looking at right now. What is this position? So, how did it start? Is this an IMSA? Yes, sir. That's all theory, actually. I play exactly this. This, and now queen d7. Oh, queen e7. Okay. c5. Rook c8. Okay. And now this pawn should fall. And then black has just a very good position. So this should be good for black. Well, at least, you know, at least equal. And for black to get an equal position after the opening is a success. So here we have a Caro-Kann, an exchanged variation, the exchange variation of the Caro-Kann. Queen on all the pieces gets developed, and that's the position. So this is reverse Carsbenstraction. Now that's a name. The point is that there are very typical plan here. So what black is about to do is to push the pawns on the queen side and go for a minority attack. Minority attack because black has just 2 pawns and white has 3. And so here the idea of black is to push those pawns in order to create weaknesses. So for example, if the pawn gets to b4 and then black takes here, at the end there will be a backward pawn here on c3, which is a weakness. And so that's exactly what black wants to do. Push pawns on the queen side, create a weakness, attack it, and go for it. On the other side, what white should do here is to place the knight on e5 and to try to take space on the king side. So getting some space. Now we have a very complex position because unconventionally black managed to long castle, and that's not what mostly happens because you want to push pawns on that side. But this is because black had this open file, this open edge file, and so he wants to use it for an attack. And we also see that g6 got pushed, and maybe even g4 will be pushed. So, all right, let's go see this other game, Ikaru. The queen got exchanged here, and and what do we have here? White. Okay, so white is still behind on development. White didn't finish the development, but the problem is this rook. If you cannot take this guy immediately, and then, okay, now this rook was attacking, you have to protect, but now still black is not taking the pawn on c6, and this is a problem. Yeah, because if white is then developing everything, white will be having an extra pawn and a super good pawn, because this guy is not just stopping, it's not just an extra pawn, but it's also stopping the development of the knight. And that's the big problem. Okay, now No, black can take. And the problem is that after rook takes, knight takes, there is knight to c5. And again, black is having a problem. So Hikaru might lose this. Okay, knight take, but still there is... Oh, okay, the knight went here, and then bishop takes. Beautiful. Alright, so white is having an extra pawn. Now he's exchanging all the pieces. And here we have a one-side endgame. Just white can win it. Oh, well, I will not say just white can win it. Because it's still, you know, it's still chess. And chess is a blunderful game. So let's go on to check the other first board. Oh, black is a piece up. How did it happen? So queen g4. Oh, attention. Take this. Attacking the queen, taking. Oh no. Oh no, this rook g3 was very bad because now the queen is trapped. You have to take there, and after this the bishop is falling. As you can see, chess is really a wonderful game. So we assume that here black should win. We assume that Jobava is winning. And I think that we should stop on this game. Because as you can see from the leaderboard, the winner of this game will be fighting for the victory of the title Tuesday. So that's important. Important. Okay, white is trying to create a pass pawn. A pass pawn, that's the way. That's the way. When you have an extra pawn, you have to make it a passer. And then push him, baby, make a queen, and win. That's the only way. Well, the only way. Also, there are many things that are important in endgame. Pass pawn, king active, active rooks in this case because there are 2 rooks. And white has nearly all of them. The king could be a bit more active. I don't know why white didn't push, didn't try to go for a5, b6. Now I'm not too sure about that. Black is trying to push here and to get some counterplay. Yes, now the rook, the black rook's also attacking the g4 pawn, but the problem is now that this, the a7 is falling, and now it will be 2 running for the glory. Check probably, and then push. Okay, no, we have the king that is trying to get to get back. There was a way to get 2 pawns. Okay, but this is just too good. White stopped the pawn on g5, and now he's going with the 2 gun here. And there is not much to do. Check, king here. Now the rook can give checks, attack. The king can go to take. And you cannot take here because this is now over. Because now that's the final, yeah. Now the pawn is... I think you have to go now to take, and then you go to block the pawn, and then this will be a resignation. Oh my god. Oh my god. I talked too early. Oh my god, that would be a draw. Okay, let's go shortly back here. How can white win this? Let's go to check it. How can white win it? I think the check is... Wait, what? So pushing is making a draw. So promoting doesn't seem good, because if you promote, rook takes. And so what's the move here? Do you have just to go towards the king? This? That's just a winning move. Okay. A kind of a zizwang, basically. You're attacking the pawn. And that's it. Yeah. Just king f3 attacking this boy. Rook take on g2 is not winning because after... Ah, yeah, also rook take g2. You're right, guys. You're right. Yes. You are right. That's also good. Now you promote. And life is good. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Oh, we have another Italian here. GM Moroni with white pieces fighting in this endgame. Very funny one. Very, very funny one. Okay, this should be just a draw. This should be just a draw. Intense. Guys, we're about to go to last round. Last round is about to start really, really soon. Really soon. Okay. Yes, Ikaru drew at the blunder. Okay, last game is about to start. We have we have one player leading the tournament, and this is Jobava. And then we have 5 players with 8.5 to 10. So if Jobava is winning, the last game is winning the title Tuesday. Reason why we should definitely go to watch him. And he's playing versus Grandmaster Beckham. The game should be loading. Jobava London. Ikaru, in the meanwhile, Ikaru is playing his system. Okay, let's stay a second on this game. I'm trying to open the Ikaru game. The Jobava game. Somehow doesn't work. Let's see. By the way, Ikaru is going to control the center. Okay. I wasted this mistake. I'm still new to live chess. Alright. So again, Jobava needs to win in order to win. Let's see which opening he chose. For the win of the title Tuesday, he didn't choose B3. He didn't choose the London. He chose E4. Write it down. Best move ever, E4. We have a Sicilian Rosalimo with bishop b5, rook here, exchanging c3, rook back, and now taking in the center. Now the idea for white is to slowly try to push on d4. Black actually got a very good position. Yeah, g4 is also a great idea for the first move. No d4, bravo. But e4 has been played. The knight is going towards d5, and then maybe even on e7. Okay, we have this. Tick-tock-tock. Knight is going back, and the knight are going to be exchanged. So now white is having the bishop here. Mostly we say, oh, the bishop pair is so good, nice. But in this situation, sadly, is a case where the bishop pair is not so active because both the bishops are blocked, and this knight on d4 is a monster. Also, white's pawn structure is slightly weak. This pawn on d3 is a backward pawn, and mostly you shouldn't have backward pawn. If the pawn would be on d5, that would be a completely different story. But like this with the pawn on d3, that's not too good for white. Maybe white can try to go with g3 f4. This could be a try. That's definitely not a good position. Not what you want to play to try to win the title Tuesday. Because this seems like a position where it's black that is playing for 2 results, and white needs to try to hold. But guys, we have seen it already. Jobava has the endurance to trick the opponents when they expect it less. So let's see. He's just moving the bishop up and down. What is Ikaru doing? Is he melding? What is happening? So Ikaru is losing this game. Well, he's losing. He's slightly worse. He's having a pawn down, and this knight is limited. This rook is very active. Protecting the pawn on b6 makes sense. g3, creating an escape square for the king. This is not easy. Okay, queen is e8. Try to exchange the queen. If the queens are getting exchanged, the rook, white is taking control over the only open file. The problem is that black could cover all the access and then bring the king to e7 and then slowly rook to d8. So I think it's not good to exchange the queen. And what is definitely clear is that here is black playing for 2 results, and that's a very, very nice. Very nice. I like e5. I really like e5. I really like e5 because now this bishop will have an amazing square on d4 forever, and you are basically disconnecting all the white pieces because the rook and the queen are not playing anymore together. Yeah, this bishop here is chef kiss bishop. Now where is the knight going? Okay, the knight. The point here, this is not winning for black. The only reason is because this knight gives white hopes because it's strong, it's powerful, it's threatening some checks, and I like the move b5. Very good, very good. Now this knight is not anymore. Oh, excuse me, that was an hanging rook. All right, okay. What is nice is that black is still doing fine because this rook is not going to have open files here, and this bishop is very strong. Okay, this is interesting, but let's move shortly to the game between Jobava and Grandmaster Beka, because now if Jobava wins, no matter what the other are doing, is winning the title Tuesday. Is the only one with 9 out of 10. He lost just 1 game. Okay, king up, avoiding the discovery. Okay, not really discovery check because the rook could have taken, but still removing the king from every possible discovery check. Okay, the king is getting to the king. The king needs to be active in the endgames. Here there are still many pieces, and it looks a bit scary to bring the king out, but white is going. White is going. Protecting the rook on d1. Guys, last moment of the last round of the title Tuesday. We have 1 player leading with 9 out of 10 and many players with 8.5. So the winner can be unpredictable. But if Jobava wins this game, he brings it home. He will be the winner. Let's move shortly to Hikaru. Is an exchange up, and now the queens could get exchanged, but they didn't. Hikaru is in time trouble. Also, the opponent is in time trouble. Now a check. Queen getting very active. The rook is a passive piece. Here black might hold here. I don't think that black has any way to win, but also white doesn't have a way to penetrate, to activate his rook and his queen in any way, because the queen needs to protect the rook and the rook needs to protect need to avoid the pawn to be pushed. Let's go to see Jobava, Exotic Princess, is having a pass pawn here instead. Black is having 2 pawns. One is backward pawn, but could become a pass pawn. This is probably a blunder, because this could be maybe an exchange, or maybe this pawn is hanging. The pawn on d4 is falling. And now, what move is black finding? Knight f3 attacking the rook, and after the exchange, the rook is taken. But this king is much more active than this. So even if black is having, is having an extra pawn, was having an extra pawn, this is still very good for white. Now king f5 is coming with the idea of being able to block the pawn. Amazing. Now bishop here is blocking the pawn, and then this pawn might fall. Oh my god, this might be a victory for Jobava. Now blocking successfully the pawn, taking the pawn. And now he's having an extra pawn in this endgame, and a bishop. This pawn might fall, but this pawn cannot be stopped if you take. Okay, pushing. King gets near, and now you bring the king. You want to play king a6, king a7, then push him, baby, and you get there. The time. Oh! Okay, nearly all the pawns are falling, but this plan cannot be stopped. And Jobava wins the last game and wins the title Tuesday with 10 out of 11. Clap for Jabava. Big congratulations. He was down on position and he came back with a great style. Good end game, good endurance, great time management. He did it. Congratulations to Jabava. Let's see if there is any game still going on. There is just one last game, and it's a pawn end game that will soon end in a draw. So okay, that's draw. So guys, that's the end. That's the end. Big congratulations one more time to Jobava for winning the title Tuesday. Jobava, aka Exciting Princess, with a great performance of 10 out of 11. We have at the second place Ikaru with 9.5 out of 11, and then Grishuk with 9.5 out of 11. So both Grishuk and Ikaru won their game. Ikaru managed to win this game. Impressive. We thought was a draw. We have at the fourth place Videt, and then okay, of course, lots of great Grandmaster. And yes, congratulations one more time to Exciting. Thank you to everyone that was here active in the chat to follow the title Tuesday with me. It was a pleasure to have you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I wish you. Oh wait, I want to tell you something. There are lots of events coming next on chess.com. There is the Bullet Championship, and also in 2 days there will be the Winner Stays. And I will appear in there, so we will see back on the Winner Stays. I will be playing, and see you soon, guys, and have a nice evening.